What if I told you that one of the most common pieces of health advice, something we've heard our entire lives, is actually the direct cause of that searing pain in your heel every morning? We've all been told that walking barefoot is the most natural thing in the world. It's supposed to strengthen our feet, connect us to the earth, make us feel grounded. But a wave of recent biomechanical research, particularly from institutions studying gait in older adults, is revealing a staggering truth. For most of us living in the modern world, that advice is not just wrong, it's actively harmful. The problem isn't your foot, the problem is your floor. In a moment, I'm going to walk you through the simple, logical reasons why this is happening. But stick with me, because the last point we'll cover reveals a little-known biological change that happens to nearly everyone over 50. It's a crucial piece of this puzzle that almost no one talks about. And without understanding it, any other effort you make to solve this pain will likely fall short. This isn't about some miracle cure. It's about a few small, brilliant adjustments that can give you back your mornings and let you walk out of your bedroom with a smooth, easy stride instead of a painful hobble. That first step out of bed. You know the feeling intimately. The alarm hasn't even finished its second chime. You swing your legs over the side of the bed, your mind still half in a dream, and you place your foot on the floor. And then it hits you. Not a dull ache, but a sharp, stabbing electric shock that shoots right through your heel. It feels like you've stepped directly on a shard of glass or a jagged piece of gravel you somehow didn't see. It makes you gasp. It forces you to pause, to put your weight back on the bed, to mentally prepare for the next painful step. That first hobbling, cautious walk to the bathroom can poison the entire morning, setting a tone of pain and limitation before your day has even truly begun. It's a truly awful way to start the day, isn't it? Let's reframe this entire situation. For years, you may have been thinking, what's wrong with my foot? You might blame your weight, your age, or some old injury. But what if the real question is, what's wrong with my floor? The advice to go barefoot is based on a world that no longer exists for most of us. It assumes you're walking on the surfaces our bodies spent hundreds of thousands of years evolving for. Soft earth, yielding sand, springy moss, uneven grasslands. No one in our evolutionary past was walking on polished concrete, ceramic tile, or engineered hardwood. It's not that your foot is suddenly failing you after all these years. It's that your home environment is asking your foot to perform a job it was never ever designed to do. It's like taking a beautifully crafted off-road vehicle and trying to drive it on a track made of pure ice. The vehicle isn't broken. The environment is just completely wrong for its design. That jolt of pain is a distress signal. Your foot is screaming that the surface underneath it is hard, unforgiving, and causing damage with every single step. Try. Before you go to sleep, place your most supportive, comfortable pair of house shoes or cushioned sandals right beside your bed, exactly where your feet will land. Make it a sacred, unbreakable rule that they are the very first thing your feet touch in the morning. Not the floor, not that soft-looking rug. Your feet go directly from the sheets into the shoes before you put a single ounce of weight on them. Feel the difference between a cushioned landing and a hard impact. Think about this for a second. Our feet are absolute marvels of biological engineering. They contain a quarter of all the bones in our entire body, plus a complex network of over 100 muscles, ligaments, and tendons. They were designed over millennia for a world that was soft, uneven, and constantly changing. Picture yourself walking barefoot on a lush green lawn just after a light rain. Think about how the cool, damp grass yields under your weight, how your toes can grip the earth, how the arch of your foot is supported by the soft ground. Or imagine walking on a forest trail on top of packed dirt and a layer of pine needles. The ground has give. It absorbs the shock of your step. It forces all those tiny, intricate muscles in your feet to fire and adjust, to work together in a dynamic symphony of movement. Your foot has to constantly adapt and stabilize itself, getting stronger, more flexible, and more resilient with every single step. That is the environment your foot was born for. Now, contrast that with the floors in your beautiful modern home. Hardwood, tile, laminate, polished concrete, vinyl flooring. They look clean and elegant, but to your feet, they are brutal punishment. They are the complete and total opposite of what your anatomy expects. They are perfectly flat, perfectly rigid, and utterly, totally unforgiving. There is zero give, zero softness, zero natural shock absorption. Every single step you take on that hard kitchen floor sends a jarring, repetitive shockwave traveling straight up your heel, through your ankle, up your shin, and into your knee and hip. There is absolutely nothing to soften the blow. It's the very same reason that professional runners who train exclusively on concrete sidewalks are plagued by stress fractures and shin splints, while those who run on soft tracks or trails can train for years without injury. Your home floors are the concrete sidewalk in this story. The cumulative effect of thousands of these tiny impacts every day is what leads to the inflammation and pain you're feeling. Try. Find a spot in your home where a hard floor, like tile or wood, meets a thick, plush area rug or carpet. Stand with one bare foot on the hard surface and one on the carpet. Close your eyes. Now, slowly shift your weight from your right foot to your left foot, back and forth. Don't just think about it, truly feel it. Feel the jarring, hard pressure under the heel on the tile. Then feel the cushioned, gentle compression under the heel on the carpet. The difference is not subtle. It's a dramatic demonstration of what your feet are enduring all day long. Let's keep this as simple and clear as possible. Running along the entire bottom of your foot is a thick, incredibly strong, and resilient band of fibrous tissue. It connects at the bottom of your heel bone and then fans out like a web, attaching to the base of each of your toes. This is called the plantar fascia, but let's forget that clinical name for a moment. Instead, I want you to picture it as the bowstring on an archer's bow, where the curved arch of your foot is the wooden bow itself. This is a perfect analogy. The bowstring's primary job is to maintain the tension and shape of the bow, to hold up the arch of your foot. It's your body's own natural built-in shock absorber. When it's healthy, it's supposed to be tense, springy, and strong, like a perfectly tuned guitar string, ready to absorb the impact of every step you take. But here's what happens on those hard, flat floors. With nothing to support your arch from below, it starts to flatten out more than it's supposed to, over and over, with every single step you take around the house. This constant, excessive flattening pulls and overstretches that bowstring. Imagine someone grabbing that archer's bowstring and just yanking on it, stretching it past its limit, again and again, thousands of times a day. This relentless strain creates tiny, microscopic tears and causes powerful inflammation, almost always right at the point where the fascia connects to your heel bone. That's the precise location of that sharp, stabbing pain. That constant, nagging pull is plantar fasciitis. It's exactly like taking a brand new, strong rubber band and stretching it to its absolute limit, holding it there, and then stretching it a little more, day after day, until you start to see tiny cracks appear. Eventually, it starts to fray. The pain you feel is that fraying process happening in real time inside your foot. Try. While you're sitting comfortably in a chair, cross one leg over the other so your ankle rests on your opposite knee. Gently take the toes of that foot in your hand and pull them back towards your shin. Don't force it, just a gentle pull. Now, with the thumb of your other hand, feel along the bottom of your foot, from the ball of the foot back to the heel. You'll feel a tight, prominent, rope-like band pop out. That's the bowstring. That's the structure that is taking all the abuse. Now we arrive at the piece of the puzzle that is almost never discussed, and it is arguably the most important factor for anyone experiencing this pain over the age of 50. We are all born with a miraculous, perfectly designed feature, a natural fat pad on the bottom of our heel. This isn't ordinary body fat. It's a highly specialized pad of tissue structured in a honeycomb pattern designed to be a perfect, custom-molded, built-in gel cushion. Nature designed it specifically to protect the calcaneus, the heel bone, from the constant high-impact forces of walking, running, and jumping. It is more sophisticated, more durable, and more effective than any shoe insert you could ever buy in a store. But here is the crucial, game-changing piece of information. As we get older, this fat pad naturally begins to thin out, a process called fat pad atrophy. It loses some of its volume, its density, and its springy, shock-absorbing quality. This is a completely normal, unavoidable part of the aging process, just like our skin losing some of its elasticity or our hair turning gray. It is not your fault. It is not a sign that you did something wrong or could have prevented it. The problem is, less natural padding means your heel bone is now far more exposed. It has lost a significant amount of its own built-in protection. This is why the hard floors in your house might not have bothered you 10 or 20 years ago, but feel agonizing now. It's exactly like driving a car with tires that have thinning tread. When the tires are new and the tread is thick, the ride is smooth and you barely feel the imperfections in the road. But as that tread wears away over thousands of miles, you start to feel every single bump, crack, and pebble in the pavement as a jarring shock through the steering wheel. Your thinning heel pad means your heel bone is now feeling the brutal impact of every single step on your tile floor in a way it never did before. Try. Gently pinch the fleshy part on the bottom of your heel between your thumb and forefinger. Feel its thickness and density. Now, do the same thing on the fleshy part of your palm at the base of your thumb. You can feel how dense and protective that padding is. The goal of wearing supportive shoes indoors is to preserve the precious padding you still have, protecting it from the excessive, unnatural forces of hard floors. So, the obvious next thought is, okay, I get it, I'll just wear slippers around the house. But please hold on. This is the single biggest mistake people make, and it can actually make the problem worse. The vast majority of slippers you find in department stores are utterly useless for this problem. They are little more than glorified socks with a flimsy thin piece of rubber or suede glued to the bottom. They are flat, floppy, and offer zero structural support. They do absolutely nothing to stop your arch from collapsing, which means they do nothing to stop that bowstring from being overstretched. In fact, they can be even more dangerous by giving you a false sense of security, making you think you're protected when you're actually still causing damage with every step. You don't need a slipper, you need a dedicated house shoe. Think of this as a comfortable, supportive, well-constructed shoe that you only wear indoors. It becomes a piece of essential equipment for navigating your home safely. Look for 3 specific, non-negotiable features. First, a firm, structured heel cup. The back of the shoe shouldn't be soft and collapsible. It should be stiff and should actively cradle your heel, preventing it from wobbling from side to side. Second, and this is critical, it must have noticeable built-in arch support. When you look inside, you should see a clearly raised, contoured area where your arch will set. When you put it on, you should really feel it pushing up gently but firmly into your arch, like a small supportive bridge holding it up. Third, and this is the easiest test, the sole must be sturdy. A shoe should only bend where your foot naturally bends, at the ball of the foot, just behind the toes. A shoe that you can easily fold in half like a piece of paper or twist like a wet dish rag is a piece of junk. It offers you no stability at all. This isn't about fashion. This is about creating a personal, supportive, perfect surface for your foot that travels with you from the kitchen to the living room to the bathroom. Try. Take your current slippers or whatever you wear around the house. Hold the heel in one hand and the toe area in the other. Now try to twist it like you're wringing out a wet towel. If it twists easily and feels limp and lifeless, it's not providing the torsional rigidity your foot needs. It's failing the test. You can make a monumental difference in your morning pain before you even dream of putting your foot on the floor. The golden rule is simple. Never, ever let the first step of the day be a sudden, cold weight-bearing one.
Think about what's happening overnight. As you sleep, your foot is often pointed downwards in a relaxed position. In this state, that overworked, inflamed bowstring, the plantar fascia, has been contracting and tightening all night long. Your body is trying its best to heal those tiny micro tears, but it's doing so in that shortened, contracted state. When you suddenly stand up and drop your full body weight onto it, you are violently and abruptly re-stretching and re-tearing that freshly healed tissue. It's a massive shock to the system, and it's why that first step is often the most excruciating one of the entire day. So you need to wake it up gently, like you would gently nudge someone awake instead of blasting an air horn in their ear. Before you even get out of bed, while you're still lying there or sitting on the edge, just point and flex your ankles slowly and deliberately. Push your toes down towards the foot of the bed as if you're pressing a gas pedal, hold for a couple of seconds, and then pull them back up toward your shin, feeling a gentle stretch in your calf. Do this 10 to 15 times on each foot. Feel that gentle, warming stretch in your calf muscles and all along the bottom of your foot. Next, gently curl and uncurl your toes. Imagine you're trying to pick up a pencil with your toes, making a little fist with your foot, then spread your toes as wide as you possibly can. This entire warm-up routine takes less than 60 seconds. It's not a workout, it's a simple, crucial signal to your lower leg and foot. It brings fresh, oxygenated blood flow to the area and pre-stretches that tight fascia before it has to handle the enormous load of your body weight. As with any movement, please stop if you feel any sharp pain. Try. After you point and flex your ankles, try to draw the letters of the alphabet in the air with your big toe. A, B, C, all the way to Z. This simple, gentle movement takes your ankle through its full, natural range of motion without any weight or impact on it at all. And please, if you have any pre-existing heart, balance, or serious joint issues, talk to a clinician before starting any new exercises. Supportive house shoes are your first, most critical line of defense, but let's also build some powerful support from the inside out. Your feet are filled with a network of small, deep muscles called intrinsic muscles. When these muscles are strong and active, they act like a natural living brace or an internal suspension system for your foot. They help to hold up your arch, absorb shock, and take a huge amount of strain off that overworked bowstring, the plantar fascia. But when these muscles get weak and lazy, which often happens from wearing overly stiff, restrictive shoes for years, the fascia is left to do all the work alone. It gets overwhelmed, overworked, and inflamed. Here's an incredibly simple and surprisingly effective exercise to wake these muscles up. Sit in a straight-backed chair with your bare feet flat on the floor. Place a small hand towel on the floor in front of you, spread out completely. Now, using only the muscles in your foot, do not move your leg, try to scrunch the towel toward you with just your toes. Grab it, pull it, release, and repeat. Pull it bit by bit until the entire towel is bunched up right under your foot's arch. It's crucial to keep your heel glued to the ground the entire time. Once it's all bunched up, reverse the process. Use your toes to push and smooth the towel back out until it's flat again. Do this for about a minute or two on each foot. The first few times you do this, you might feel some mild cramping or muscles working that you didn't even know you had. That's a fantastic sign. You're waking up crucial support muscles that have been dormant. As always, remember to stop immediately if you feel any sharp pain. Try. Once the towel scrunch starts to feel easy, you can graduate to a more challenging version. Try to pick up a single marble, a pen, or even a balled-up sock off the floor using only your toes, and then place it into a small bowl a few inches away. This is a fantastic challenge for your foot's dexterity, coordination, and strength. And again, a quick chat with a clinician is always a good idea if you have heart, balance, or significant joint issues. Now, after all this discussion about the dangers of hard floors and the necessity of shoes, you might be thinking, does this mean I can never feel the floor under my feet ever again? Absolutely not. That's not a realistic or even desirable way to live. The goal is not to entomb your feet in shoes 24/7. This isn't about an all or nothing black and white rule. The key is to be smart and strategic. Think of it as having a barefoot window. This is an intelligent approach where you choose when and where to be barefoot. Short periods of barefoot time, specifically on soft, forgiving surfaces, are perfectly fine and can even be beneficial for maintaining your foot's natural sensitivity, flexibility, and strength. Walking barefoot across your plush living room carpet for a few minutes while you search for the TV remote? That's great. Stepping onto a thick, soft, absorbent bath mat when you get out of the shower? That feels wonderful and is no problem at all. These are positive, healthy sensory experiences for your feet. But standing on the cold, hard kitchen tile for an hour while you cook a big family meal or wash a sink full of dishes, that's the kind of sustained, unforgiving, cumulative pressure we need to eliminate. Standing barefoot at the bathroom vanity on a hard floor for 10 minutes while you brush your teeth and get ready? That's what we want to stop. That's like a slow, steady drip of damage to your heel. Remember, it's not one single event that causes this intense pain. It's the accumulation of thousands upon thousands of these seemingly harmless steps and moments of standing still on hard surfaces. Your body is incredibly smart. If you learn to listen, your feet will absolutely tell you when they've had enough. They'll give you signals like a dull ache or a tired, heavy feeling. Pay attention to those signals. Try. Go out and buy a cushioned anti-fatigue mat. They are a game changer. But don't just get one for the kitchen sink. Put one in front of the stove where you cook and one in the bathroom in front of the vanity. Anywhere in your home on a hard surface where you tend to stand still for more than a couple of minutes. It's a simple, inexpensive way to upgrade a small but critical patch of your floor into a foot-friendly oasis. I know this might feel like a lot of new information, but I want to assure you it really just boils down to 3 simple, powerful, and logical ideas. Think of it as a simple checklist for happy, pain-free feet. First, and most importantly, support your foot. This is the foundation of everything else. Ditch that floppy, useless slipper that's doing you more harm than good. Make a small investment in a real, truly supportive house shoe and wear it faithfully whenever you are inside your home on hard surfaces. Think of it as your foot's personal, portable, perfect floor that protects it from the hostile environment of modern flooring. Second, prepare your foot. Treat your feet with the respect they deserve. Never, ever surprise them first thing in the morning with a sudden, heavy load. Take that 1 minute before you stand up to do those gentle in-bed stretches. Wake up the muscles and tissues gently and respectfully before you ask them to carry the weight of your entire body for the rest of the day. And third, respect the surface. This is a mindset shift. Start to see your hard floors for what they are. Concrete. Because to your heel's delicate structures, that's exactly what they feel like. Limit your barefoot time on these unforgiving surfaces. Use your barefoot window intelligently and intentionally, reserving it for short, enjoyable periods on your softest carpets, rugs, or even the grass in your backyard. This isn't about some complicated, expensive medical treatment plan. It's about making a few small, smart, logical adjustments in your daily environment and your daily routine. It's about finally understanding the mismatch between your body's ancient design and your home's modern construction, and then taking simple steps to bridge that gap. You absolutely have the power to do this. Try. Please don't try to implement all of these changes at once. That's a surefire recipe for feeling overwhelmed and giving up. Just pick one, the one that seems easiest or makes the most sense to you right now. Maybe it's just getting the right pair of house shoes and committing to wearing them. Or maybe it's just committing to the morning stretch routine. Master that one thing for a week. Let it become a habit. Small, consistent wins are what build powerful, lasting momentum.